is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We're doing a video for you guys. It's going to be a points slash how good the unit is for Chaos Space Marine. So hopefully this is finding you guys well. Thanks for clicking on the channel. If you guys are new, we have a huge Discord growing up on the link below. And also to my Patreons, I got to give you guys a shout out first. We wouldn't be doing it as much as we are if it wasn't for you guys. We hit 500 goal last month, which we gave away a shit ton of free stuff. Everything just got shipped out a couple days ago. So if you guys, congrats for winning. And also we did get ranked #1 Chaos Space Marine player for 9th edition right at the end, so in the world, which is fucking awesome. So we wanted to keep that going with a Chaos Space Marine player because they're super fun. I've had that army for so long. We placed for Grey Knights, and then we placed for Chaos Space Marine player. I don't know if we're going to switch it up and go Death Guard. Haha, 23% win rate. But thanks for clicking on the channel. We're going to go over my thoughts of the top units that are really, really, really good right now in 10th edition compared to their points cost and kind of what it is compared to other armies. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I'm comparing to Grey Knights because Grey Knights I think are overcosted, but when you go into Chaos Space Marine player, Space Marine units, their output is so good for their point costs. I always say you always want to trade points versus points, and these guys trade very, very well based off their points. So in some kind of order, we're going with the best units, some combos with Chaos Space Marine player, because if you're running these units, you're most likely going to be running them at the same time in the same list. And we're going to be going through ideas and tactics and why they're so good and what you could be putting them on a table with, so that way you're having success in 10th edition. If you guys are new to the channel, we do competitive Patreon, which you guys, if we want to get better at 10th edition, you can sign up for Patreon and message me anytime you want, questions, comments, tactics, list ideas, anytime. That's $10 a month, and $25 a month is a Grandmaster, where we get to talk on Discord, go any ideas. I get to run lists that you guys want to see on a battle report, and also we can do TTS games as well for some tactics 101. So that's up on Patreon. Appreciate you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. So let's get into it in no particular but some type of order. We're going to start with my favorite unit in 10th edition is going to be the Accursed Cultists combined with the Dark Commune. So we're going to be going over both. The first one with the Cursed Cultists, these guys are 190 points for 6 big monsters that have 3 wounds each, and then 10 little guys which are 1 wound each. Now they're OBSEC 2, which is insane in 10th edition. So each model is OBSEC 2 on the points with a 25-man blob with the Dark Commune. So you're going to be pairing this up with Dark Commune almost 99% of the time. Dark Commune gives them, let me just read all the stats. So Dark Commune is a 5++ invuln built in. They get advance and charge once per game, and they get +1 to wound and +1 to their hit. So these guys who normally hit on 4s are now hitting on 3s. They get +1 to their wound, so most time they're going to be wounding on 3s against toughness 4, 4s on toughness 5, and then 5s on toughness 11, or sorry, 9 and below. So toughness 10, they're going to be wounding on 6s down to 5s. Toughness 12, they're going to be wounding on 6s down to 5s. And then on everything else, they'll be wounding on 4s and 3s, and then 3s and 2s. So they're going to be, that +1 to wound is huge, especially into high vehicle or high toughness units. So it's once per game. When you get that huge charge off with it, which they get to advance and charge, is going to be insane combo with these guys. So each turn, each command phase, at the start of each player's command phase, you return either 1 destroyed torrent model, which is the big guys, or up to 3 destroyed mutant models. So basically every fucking command phase, you're bringing 6 OBSEC models back onto an objective, or 1 big guy back onto objective to either steal an objective or in the command phase start on an objective. So that is huge combo with these guys. Sometimes if they can't get onto an objective right away, they basically run up, they then get shot at. You keep 2 guys within coherency, so that way when in your command phase, you place 1 guy 2 inches further and then his base 2 inches. So basically you have a 4-inch fucking threat extension, or get it onto an objective in the command phase to try and steal / control an objective. This is a huge secondary stealing unit in Chaos Space Marine. They used to not be able to do actions prior. Now they can do actions. They have a built-in 6-up Feel No Pain, which I forgot to go over. Feel No Pain 6+ for the unit. So they have a 5-up invuln and a 6-up Feel No Pain. That 6-up Feel No Pain is hilarious on the 3-wound models. These guys are great for getting shot at by big guns. So like, oh, here's 3 melta shots. Great. These 3 little fucking guys die. Don't care. And that's if you fail your 5-up invuln save. So devastating wounds, it kind of sucks going through, but that's why the big guys kind of take a lot of the devastating wounds. But then the little guys, I got shot by a Wraith Knight, 2d6 damage. This one guy makes his 5-up invuln save, saves it, makes another 5-up invuln save, saves it, fails a 5-up invuln save. Oh, I guess this one zombie guy died. Let me just take him off the table for you. Fucking hilarious. They're really hard to kill. Like, to move this unit, you have to focus a lot into them. I got shot by 2 fucking Wraith Knights and still lived in my turn, was able to steal the center objective, get some points back, and then move up and charge and kill something else. So this unit I definitely think is the best, if not one of the best units in Chaos Space Marine. So that's the first one. Let's go over my second favorite unit. Now you guys could probably guess the order, but Forgefiend. Forgefiend, I never had any Forgefiends, never owned any, so I had to literally buy 3 Forgefiends and put them together. I posted a picture up on Patreon, like, yes, this is fucking happening. So Forgefiend stats are great. They have Nurgle Mark, so if you're in the back and you're trying to shoot from pretty far and they target you with an attack, you can then just Nurgle them and now they can't get targeted. Plus Nurgle with the combo with Dark Packs, they get exploding 5s and 6s. So with full reroll Abaddon, which most of the time you're going to be running these guys with Abaddon, you get full rerolls, exploding 5s. So basically I'm just rerolling everything. So exploding 5s and 6s, and then if they're comboing with hellbrute, you're exploding and auto wounding on 5s and 6s. So it's a double packed at the same time, which is just fucking insane. They're 3d3 blast. So if you're shooting a unit of 10, let's say tanky dudes, 10 Terminators, you get an extra 6 shots because it's 3 blast of 2 each. So you're doing 3d3, average of 10. So average of, let's say 3, 4, 5, let's say 6. So you get an average of 6 shots, and then 6 more. So you're shooting 12 fucking shots, hitting on 3s, full rerolls because of Abaddon, exploding 5s and 6s, auto wounding on 5s and 6s. So let's say you wound fucking, I don't know, 5, 6 times, which then explode. So you automatically 5, 6 wounds, explode 5 or 6 more times. So you're wounding now 10 times on 2s because it's strength 10 against toughness 5. Fuck. And then devastating wounds if you get any 6s. Now if they're Nurgle, which I would suggest, maybe you do 1 unmarked so you can get full rerolls to wound. But with Nurgle, you're just devastating wounds on 6s. So you get to roll everything to wound, and then 6s do devastating wounds. The Overwatch is really good with Abby. So the Dark Pack still procs, and the Hellbrute still procs, and Abaddon still procs. So all 3 of those still work for Overwatch because it's not the shooting phase. It's just anytime this unit is selected to shoot, it doesn't say specific phase, you can then use all of those abilities, which is insane. So somebody comes in from Deep Strike, a big 10-man blob, you're like, hey, I'm just going to spend 1 CP and Overwatch with this Hellbrute. 6s, explode, auto wound, and you get full rerolls to wound. Sure. So let's say I roll 2 6s, I reroll, I get 2 more 6s, and then that's 4 auto wounding, and then 4 more explodes. So it's just, it's insane. Fuck. So that is the combo with those 3 guys. Is you keep 6 inches from Abaddon, you keep 6 inches from a Hellbrute. If you're going to run 3 of them, I definitely would suggest the Hellbrute. I faced the Wraith Knight and I noticed a huge difference without having the Hellbrute and getting the auto wounds off, because then he was able to just kind of not wound. Essentially, I need 5s to wound. So yes, I explode a lot, but then I still need 5s to wound on a Wraith Knight or a Big Knight. So I'd rather get the 5s and 6s auto wound and explode, because then I have more chances to do some saves. So Hellbrute, 100% worth it. It's 165 points for this model. When you compare it to other units, it's not even a comparison. This one model killed 5 Terminators and a Librarian with 1 round of shooting. So it shot into my unit that was first to the fray, came down, got me points. He then moved up and then shot at them. I didn't make any 4-up saves, which still, it was still bad. He hit me, I think, 12 times with the explodes. Didn't have a hellbrute, so he needed 2s to wound, which a ton of 2s, and then I think I rolled 9 saves and I failed 6 of them, so 7 of them. Let's say I just failed 7, so all 7 died, went through, didn't want to reroll anything, and it just killed all of that. So that was 225 point Terminator unit and 145 point Libby unit, so that's 370 points it killed in one round of shooting it. This guy tripled its points in one fucking turn, which is insane. And the next turn it moved up, killed another strike unit, moved up, killed a paladin unit. So these guys, point value wise, is such a huge benefit to Chaos Space Marine player. That is my insight. I think these guys are fucking worth it 100% every single time. Let's go over the combo that works well with this guy. So the hellbrute is small enough to hide in most ruins and story buildings and stuff like that. So you're going to be hiding it most of the time because you'd rather keep them on the table for that 6-inch aura of double dark pact. And then if this model is equipped with 2 hellbrute fists, all right, swing length, whatever. So I'm going to put a last cannon on this guy, and probably a missile launcher just to kind of shoot from afar. If you need to peek out and shoot one specific thing, you can then do that. But he's there mainly for 155 points to get the auto wounding on everything around. So most of the stuff around is going to be Nurgle for the Forgefiends and maybe a Land Raider and stuff like that. So everything that you're shooting with Abaddon is going to get full rerolls to wound, and with this guy, double Dark Pact. We just went over why it's so good with the Forgefiends with Dark Pact on both of them, because against bigger targets, instead of wounding on 2s and 3s, you're going to have to wound on 5s. So I'd rather it auto wound on a crit of a 5 and 6 in my shooting phase with my Abaddon rerolls than having to try and roll 5s with no rerolls in the shooting phase. So this guy comboing with the Forgefiend is so worth it every single game. 6-inch aura near Abbey helps bring down Titans and tanks. So this guy is a really good combo for his points and blocks at the backfield if needed for your Chaos Space Marine list. Now, this is a local fan favorite. This is one of Mike's favorite units. I was running 8 of these guys, or not, I think it was 8 or 9 of these guys in my Black Legion list, and they did fucking amazing with Abaddon and Black Legion and AP and all that stuff. They lost all of that shit. So they're not used to kill shit anymore. They're mainly used for 10th edition secondaries. 10th edition secondaries, if you guys are noticing, if you don't have secondary units, you're going to lose. Most of this game now in 10th edition is all focused on how many secondaries you can get as soon as possible and denying your opponent secondaries and primary. So with this unit, what makes them so deadly? I saw this right when they first came out. I was talking about these guys. These guys should be in your list. So at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is wholly within 6 inches of one or more battlefield edges, so if they're in the corner or your edge or whatever, you can remove them from the battlefield and place them in strategic reserve. So your opponent's done moving, these guys then get off of the table, and you're at the end of your movement phase with your reserves, you move them back on. There's a lot of missions now. In 9th edition there wasn't, but now they have a lot of missions that you the objective is within 6 inches of the board edge. So you can basically walk on, steal an objective, get an objective, claim an objective, do actions. They're OBSEC 2, so it's basically 6 OBSEC walking on a do objective, as long as you're outside of 9 inches of the opponent, but you're basically walking on and doing an action. I think if you want to go plasma, you can, but you could also just go flamer. Walk on, kill some chaff, make him do a battle shock test, whatever it may be, but walk on, do a flamer shot, or walk on and do 3 fucking plasma shots. So you can have your leader have a plasma pistol within 12 inches, and then 2 plasma guns, they walk on within 12 inches, have a rapid fire. So that's basically 2, 4, 5 shots of plasma hitting on 3s. You can make them undivided if you want to, or Zinch to auto wound, or Nurgle to explode. So they walk on, do Dark Pact. You can overcharge if you want to do the hazardous, you don't have to, but you walk on, do all the plasma shots with undivided. You spend 1 CP, full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound, and then you roll. If you roll 1, one of them dies. Whatever, they did their job, they walked on, stole an objective, and then shot. So these guys are really good. And the next turn, if they're still within that 6 inches of the table edge, you can then just walk them off, go somewhere else, and do something else. Let's say they're about to get charged by something else, like you don't want them to die. You then, at the end of the opponent's movement phase, at the opponent's turn. So end opponent's turn, you then walk them off, bring them on a completely opposite side of the table, and then do behind enemy lines, engage on all fronts, within 9 inches of the corner, do an action. There's just so much that these guys can do for 95 points. So 95 points, cheaper than everything Grey Knights have. They're able to kind of be super speedy on the table edge and just walk on and do action. So this makes your opponent have to block out the backfield or block objectives that are within 6 inches of the backfield because they don't want the Bites to walk on and just claim it. So these guys are super good. They're really good at killing solos as well. If you bring plasma with them, they walk on. Let's say they have a Cypher or somebody that you can't be shot at outside of 12 inches, so they come within 9 and just unload 5 plasma shots into a character that has lone operative and just kill the character like a fucking sniper on bikes. So these guys can kill characters with lone operative pretty easily, coming in from different table quarters. So these guys are super fast killing, character killing, objective stealing guys for 95 points. So if you haven't looked at these guys, take a look at this unit right here. Super, super fast, and I definitely am going to have him in my list. Cultist Mob for 55 points. 55 points. These guys gained sticky objectives, which is huge in 10th edition. I lost against Mike last game because I forgot that he had sticky on his home field objective because these guys started on the home field objective. So in his command phase, there were still 4 guys left or whatever. He spent 1 CP to pass their battle shock test after he failed it because they're OPSEC 7 or leadership 7. He failed it, spent 1 CP, gained sticky objectives on a home field objective, and kept that for the rest of the fucking game. I wasn't able to get to the objective. He didn't have some guys on the objective. He didn't need to because it was already sticky. So even go against Grey Knights, being able to steal the backfield objective, I couldn't because I couldn't get near it, and I didn't want to put 10 paladins on his home field objective next to 3 fucking Forgefiends. So these guys essentially played a huge part in him getting primary points with just sticky objectives. If he didn't fail the center objective, he could have made the center objective sticky as well for 1 or 2 turns. And given these guys Nurgle. I like these guys having Nurgle because of the opportunity to spend 1 CP to not be shot at. If them being shot at in your command phase got you a primary point for sticky objectives, let's say in the center or your objective, that's worth 1 CP, so that way they don't get shot outside 12 inches. There's going to be a lot of indirect fire trying to blow these guys up like turn 1 and turn 2. You could just say, hey, nope, can't shoot me. You have to go against something tougher like Terminators, tanks, Abaddon, Forgefiends, whatever it may be, instead of killing my easy Cultist Mob unit. So having 1 unit in your army, definitely worth it for sticky objectives. And if you have points for 55 points for another unit, you can make another unit like Jentzsch, for example. They could be in reserves, walking from reserves. Just like bikes, they can come into a objective within 6 inches. They could be outside a character that you want to try and just kill with Jentzsch, auto wounding with all of their shots on 5s and 6s. They have a flamer that they could bring. They have a heavy stubber. They have a grenade launcher. Everything else has pistols and close combat weapons. So they walk on, shoot a ton of stuff with Jentzsch, auto winning on 5s and 6s, and then potentially get a 9-inch charge on the solo character. I almost killed the Eldar character that got you a CP every single turn. I didn't know that that was the character that I was going after, or I would have focused more on it, but I almost killed it. I left it on 1 wound with just a cultist unit. So just his cultist unit, which I wasn't really caring about, charged his solo shot and then charged his solo character and left it on 1 wound. So if I would have just thought that that was the character to go after, that character would have died because of my cultist mob. So 55 points, well worth it for Chaos Space Marine player. It should be in every single list just for what it could do for 55 points. The man, the myth, fucking legend, Abaddon the Despoiler. So right when he came out, he was already busted. He was 350 points before he went down to 280 points, so they basically gave us 70 points for this guy. The difference is he can be shot at. He has to usually be part of a unit, so you can actually put Legionnaires with this guy for 100 points instead of Terminators, and he makes that unit completely every single pact. So any stratagem, any dark pact that you do, that unit also gains, which is insane. So 10-man Termi Blob or a 5-man Termi Blob gets auto wounding on 5s, exploding 5s. If you have a dark pact, hellbrute near you, like it's insane. So this guy gets full rerolls within 6 inches for everything in your army, 4-up invuln save for everything in your army, or can reroll dark pacts and leadership tests, or leadership tests for battle shocks. Can reroll leadership and battle shocks. So basically reroll dark pact tests, I think, and battle shock tests. So if you really want to keep that one objective on turn 5 and you can just do this in the command phase, then he gets that. He can pick one of these off the board because it's just in the command phase. You can use that ability. He picks one of these, comes down, in deep strike, and then still gains it. So that was a benefit of being in 10th edition as well. And then what else does he get? Oh, the CP. So if he does a dark pact, so somebody let me know this rule, because I got both options. One option is you can basically be selected your unit to do a dark pact, and then kind of shoot up in the air. The other option is if you can't select a unit physically, like you're just not in range or whatever it may be, you can't then select to be a unit to do dark pact. So I have both answers. I don't know the fucking rule. I get both sides to it. So somebody let me know if it works. Somebody let me know if it doesn't. Hit me up or post in Discord and let me know the option. So he gets on a 2+, you get a 1 CP as long as you pass your leadership test. With the Dark Pact, you gain 1 CP. He's a 2-up, 4-up, toughness 5, 9 wounds. He lost a toughness, but 5 leadership, which is awesome. So on a 5+, you get a 2+ CP, which is huge in 10th edition. OPSEC 4 by himself. This fucking beastly motherfucker. Okay, so yes, this guy compared with all the Forgefiends, the hellbrute, the venom crawlers, like land raiders, anything. This guy is just super good for Chaos Space Marine player. He's probably going to be in most of the list that you guys are bringing. It just helps with everything. He still munches in combat as well. He's got 8 attacks with the explodes, with the auto wounding, with the devastating wounds. You can spend 1 CP for undivided to get full rerolls to wound for devastating wounds on both of his weapons. 3 damage, still -4 AP, which is almost unheard of in 10th edition. Strength 14, so you're even wounding big tanks on 3s. Everything else on 2s and 3s. So AP 4, 3 damage, hitting on 2s, exploding on every... Like, this guy, if he gets into combat, he kills everything that he touches. And his gun, he still stayed AP 1, 2 damage, strength 5, 4 attacks, so this still stayed the same. So yeah, and him coming in from rapid ingress with a 5-man Terminator blob or a 10-man Terminator blob is super scary. So him rapid ingressing, either top of 1 or bottom 1. Top of 1 he can come, or top of 2 he can come in from deep strike. Top of 2 he can, if your opponent went first, he can come in rapid ingress, or on your turn, if you're first, turn 2, he can come in deep strike. So either way, he can come in, and everybody can then move up to be within 6 inches of him, or also deep strike like obliterators, and then all get full rerolls to hit. So him marching up the field with Terminators is good. Him deep striking with Terminators is good. Him staying in the back and just blocking off your home field objective is also good. So him being like all different roles in your army is really good for a Chaos Space Marine player. So him is probably one of the best characters, honestly, in the game, and can kill almost every other character in the game. So super good. Next, I think, is almost a must. Some argue with that, but this next guy is really cool. All right, our boy Cypher. He's 105 points, but he brings the additional CP on one of your opponent's strats. So in 10th edition, CP is so hungry. We don't start with 6, we don't start with 4, we literally start with 0. So every single army goes up to 1 turn 1. Then every round you each get 1, but we're using strats almost every single turn. So if there's a strat that your opponent is relying on almost every single turn, like Grey Knights, the Grey Knights have 3, maybe 4 good strats for 1 CP. So if he picks any single one of them, that limits us so much, especially during the game. So that strategy makes it huge to bring him in almost every single game. If you think about Eldar going against their Phantasm, like if you walk in from reserves with your Forgefiend, they can then just spend 1 CP and walk 7 inches back, so now you're out of range, or you're out of melt range. Let's say I bring in a big Knight from reserves, and melt range is 12 inches. Well, great, now they move back 7 inches, and you're fucking out of melt range. So you lose all that firepower trying to kill a Knight. So little stuff like that in the game is going to be huge, especially making it cost 1 CP. Now, there's a lot of, let's say, shield captains that make it cost 0 CP. If you spend this, it now always costs 1 CP. So Custodies, for example, they have a counter charge for free, 2 CP. And now it's going to cost 3 CP if they want to do it. The fight first. And then if they have a 0 strat, it still costs them 1 CP. So that's so good, especially in the game. So Cypher, for 105 points, being able to bring that and just have your opponent think like, fuck, I have to kill Cypher to try and get rid of this. It makes them do weird stuff to try and show their opponent or show their units to try and kill one model who also has lone operative, so they have to be within 12 inches to shoot it. Or if you're Grey Knight, try and be within 18 inches to try and smite it to death with Vortex of Doom. Now, he has to be on the battlefield, which is a little bit different than the Cultist Assassin. So he has to be on the battlefield for it to proc the 1 CP. Each time the unit is selected to shoot one or more unit attacks to target a friendly Heretic Astartes unit with 3 inches model, he can shoot back as opposed to the shooting phase. When doing so, he must target the enemy unit. So I haven't used this yet because he only shoots fucking 12 inches. So if he targets something within 3 inches of Cypher, he then gets to shoot that unit back. But if they're within 12 inches of him, they could probably just shoot him because the lone operative, 12 inches, 12 inches. So cool. It's just something in addition. It's really good probably in combat. So if somebody shoots him or somebody shoots somebody within 3 inches of him, if he's in combat with that unit, he can then shoot the unit because of pistol and being in combat. Same with vehicle. So I guess if he's in unit or engage with a vehicle and the vehicle shoots something within 3 inches of him out of combat, he can then shoot the vehicle that he's in combat with because of the pistol rule. So all these like what ifs, but it's just something in addition. He's really good for secondaries because he can screen out pretty well, and he's got assault weapons. So a lot of the secondaries, it says if you're eligible to shoot, you can then do this action. So he can basically advance, be eligible to shoot because he has an assault keyword, and then do an action. So he's speed 6, advance just to get within range of something, and then do an action. So that's what makes him so good, especially with the secondaries. He has 5 wounds, 4 up invuln save, and a 3 up regular save. So he's not too easy to kill, especially with lone operative and having 5 wounds. So if 2 damage wounds go through, he's still alive. So that's pretty cool. He's got a strength 8 gun, AP 3, 2 damage, 3 shots, 6 shots with AP 1, all sustain, and he can do Dark Pact, which is pretty cool. So if you want a Dark Pact for exploding 6s or auto wounding on 6s, whatever it may be, he at least has Dark Pact. So hope you don't fail his leadership of 6. Cypher, I think, is definitely a really good person to bring into almost every single army, especially for 105 points. So these guys got a little bit of buff in 10th edition, but these guys, rapid ingress is a thing in 10th edition. So these guys coming down with rapid ingress, anything that has deep strike in 10th edition is very good, especially for secondaries and rapid ingress. But then pairing up with Abaddon, full rerolls to hit and combi weapons. So they could be 1 CP, and your full 10-man blob with 10 combi weapons are getting full rerolls to hit, exploding on 5s and 6s, auto wounding on 5s and 6s. Do they get both? So if you're, I guess it depends on which one you're doing. So if you do the exploding one, most of the time you can do exploding. So you explode and auto wounds on 5s and 6s because Zinch. No, I guess you just get explode. Sorry, you just get explode. So you're Nurgle, you're basically proccing the Nurgle, and you're spending 1 CP for the full rerolls to wound because of undivided, because Abaddon gets both. So full rerolls to hit, exploding on 5s, more dice, full rerolls, and then anti-infantry 4+. So if you're going against like characters or anti-infantry, anything on a 4+, full rerolls to wound are devastating wounds. So if you're within 12 inches because of deep striking or rapid ingress, move up and then shoot within 12 inches, you are basically getting 20 shots, probably 30 shots when you get the explosions, and then all 4s with rerolls for devastating wounds. It's just a shit ton of devastating wound output. Now, each time the unit makes a Dark Pact until the end of phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So I know you're spending 1 CP to do it, but if you don't want to spend the 1 CP, you just get automatically full rerolls to hit anyway. That's just built into their fucking profile. Talk about an army that gets a shit ton of rerolls. Chaos Space Marine is that army. So it's just, that combo is really good, especially with tournaments. Even if you have a 5-man squad leading with a Lord or even just Abaddon, that combo with the mortal wounds and devastating wounds for the combi weapon is just is awesome. So they're another best addition that you can bring to the army. It's not in every single list, but it's for 390 points. You get 10 of them. It gets 180 points. You get, is it 185 points? No, 195 points. 195 points. You get 5 of them. So pretty good for their point wise. Great Knight Terminators are 225 points, but at least I can bring a Terminator back for 1 CP. These guys can if they're with Abaddon. So yeah, for 195 points, they're definitely worth their value. They have a 2-up, 4-up, toughness 5, 3 wounds, leadership 6, OPSEC 1, all the standard Terminator stats. So I definitely think they're really good with Lord of Terminator armor, which we'll go over that guy now. So I recently just saw this guy. Mike's been playing him, but he also gets once per battle round, unlike the Grey Knight, once per battle. But once per battle round, you can use a stratagem for 0 CP. Now, the stratagems for Chaos Space Marine, -1 AP, fallback, shoot and charge, advance and charge, full rerolls to hit and wound. So he could basically spend 0 CP for that Terminator unit to get full rerolls to hit and wound if they're undivided, and try and do all the mortal wounds. So that combo with the Terminators and him is super good. He's only 100 points, and he has 6 wounds, 2-up, 4-up, toughness 5, but he can also bring a Chain Fist, which is just an additional Chain Fist into that unit, anti-vehicle 3+, which is great for the Knights. And also, he could also bring another combi weapon. So that's more combi weapon availability into your unit that's already going to do a shit ton of mortal wounds. So, hitting on 3s. I think they hit on 4s, but he hits on 3s. And then anti-infantry 4+ for devastating wounds. He also halves damage. So if any like precision or something gets to him, he's going to have that damage. So any 2 or 3 damage snipers or even meltas, anything that's going to be able to precision him, have the damage. So he's even tankier to fucking kill. On a 2-up, 4-up with 6 wounds, this guy is a tanky boy. All right, so let's go over the next pick. That's going to be really good with Abaddon. I'm just noticing if I were to do this for Grey Knights, it would be like a 10-minute video. There's so much good combos and stuff with Chaos Space Marine player. I love it. So Chaos Space Marine army should be one of the top armies. Let's see how they perform. Obliterators, they have a 2-up, 5-up, but they're toughness 7. So they're 160 points for 2 of them, but they're 5 wound toughness 7 models. OBSEC 2 each. They have dark packs, and they have insane weapons. So they're one of the very few that still have a 24-inch melt-a-gun. So if they're coming in from deep strike within 9 or even within 12, they get to shoot the melt-a-gun at +2. So they have a 6 damage melt-a-gun shot. You can make these guys Zinch, so that you can spend 1 CP to bring one back if one of them dies. You can run squads of 4 to just come down within 6 of Abaddon and just fucking kill any tank that's on the table. Fuck, it's insane. They also have a blast gun, which is 2 damage to kill Marines. Strength 8, AP2, 2 damage. D6 shots. So it's 2d6 or 46 shots with blast. So any squads of 5, they get additional shot. Any squads of 10 or more, they get additional 2 shots. So it's d6 +2. Strength AP2, 2 damage. Like, that is just mowing down people. They could deep strike, so they come in from top of the table for plunging fire. So now all these are +1 AP, AP3, AP4. You can have a sorcerer come in and do the extra AP. So another AP4, AP5. So just no save unless you have an invuln save. Once per battle, they can gain the indirect fire ability. So if you put them all up on the top ruin and you can't see anything, let's say it's like ITC or WTC, where it's like the really tall ruins but you can't see anything, but you're all the way up top, you still get plunging fire. So you kind of ignore the negative AP or them getting cover save, which most fucking everybody in this army does right now, and you can still be within 6 inches of Abaddon and get the full rerolls. So you can make these guys Nurgle to try not to be shot back, or exploding 5s and 6s with Dark Pact with full rerolls, or you make them Zinch to auto wounding on 5s and 6s, so you don't even have to roll the wound roll on a strength 12, and then full rerolls. So full rerolls to hit, auto wounding on 5s and 6s, and there's no devastating, so you don't care about auto woundings on 5s and 6s. Most of the time with devastating, you want to make sure you wound it on 5s and 6s, but with Jentzsch, you can auto wound to 5 and 6 with full rerolls to wound, and you automatically get a melta going through. So that's probably better if you're going to deep strike them in with an Abaddon just to try and nuke something, is with Jentzsch, because then if they get shot in return and one of them happen to die, you just spend 1 CP, bring one back, extend the range, and then just do it again. So Jentzsch is probably really good with these guys. I still haven't tried them, but I've faced them and they are fucking scary, especially into Grey Knights. So Oblitz, I definitely think are one of the best units, you know, in this order to bring with your Chaos Space Marine. All right, we are winding down. We have 2 more entries. We have the Chaos Land Raider, and the last one isn't in this data sheet, but it's Nurglings. I'll go over Nurglings real quick now. Nurglings are great for secondaries. They're good for Chaos Space Marine play if you have that extra 40, 50 points. A lot of people are asking if you're playing Flamers or that change dude, that changeling, I guess, that can't be shot outside of 12 inches. But I think Nurglings are key. They're 3 models. They're OPSEC 0, but at least you get to block out backfields. You get to block out charges. You get to block people from deep striking on your objective. They can deep strike as well. They can be infiltrate, so they can actually start up the table if needed. They're OPSEC 0 again, so make sure that you're not having to start near something that they get shot at, because if they get shot at, they're going to die. But if you start them up the field and kind of be within, you know, behind a wall, everything within 6 inches of them is -1 to hit. So they have a 6-inch aura of -1 to hit. So if you can get them within 6 inches of a big, you know, blob, they have to kill them first before they shoot at something else because of that aura. So that aura is actually huge when it comes to your units getting shot back. Great for actions. They're mainly actions: engage behind enemy lines, block out deep strike, and keeping on a home field objective. If you're playing Grey Knights, they can come in on your home field objective within 3 inches. You can then just spread your Nurglings out in a triangle, so that way I can't land on your home field objective to try and steal it. I have to kill them first, which is just super annoying, and then I'd hopefully try and get there, but by that time you probably move somebody else on your home field objective. So for 40 points to stop 8 points on that one secondary, or, you know, more points for secondaries, like that is such a good trade for their point value. Most lists that I've seen have 1 to 2 of them in their army. I think I'm going to be running 2 of them just because it's 80 points for 6 models. I could do all that stuff, especially for secondary. So Nurglings, definitely on the list. I think you guys should have probably agree with me on that. So last entry, we got the Chaos Land Raider. I faced this the other day with our Grey Knights, and it is fucking insane. What makes it so good, them and a Rhino, is you can actually put Nurgle on this Land Raider. Full rerolls to hit with an Abaddon range. Even this thing gets it. And it's got 4 fucking last cannon shots, strength 12, AP 3, D6 plus 1 damage. So going into a night or anything like that, you're getting 5s and 6s are going to auto explode with full rerolls. And if you're near a hellbrute, if you have that combo, it's going to be pretty expensive. But if you're near a hellbrute, you get auto wounding on 5s and 6s as well. So I think this thing within 6 inches of Abaddon, getting full, it is a huge gun platform, as well as being able to get infantry out and get the charge off. So it moves 10 inches, toughness 12, 16 wounds, 2 up, OPSEC 5. So even it just walking on an objective is fucking OPSEC 5. Like, I need 3 to 4 models that are OPSEC 2 to fucking take over this thing. With like, it's annoying to deal with. And it's Nurgle. So if it shoots at, like, let's say a big knight shoots at it, you just spend 1 CP and you can't shoot at it outside 12 inches. That's what makes it so deadly. So not that it's just a Land Raider, but the fact that it has a Nurgle strat that you can't shoot at it outside 12 inches. So it basically moves up all safely, shoots at the fucking target that it wants to shoot at. They then move up outside of 12, you pop it, can't shoot at it. And then your guys inside, it can then move up, they get out and charge, or they can get out. And then, you know, 9, if it's possessed or something, they get out 9, 10, 12 inches. That's fucking huge. And then charge. Like, it's a great unit if you love just being super tanky, sitting on objective, shooting from afar, and putting Terminators or possessed, or really anybody in this thing to just move up and get out with the assault ramp. So this is really good. I definitely want to play with one. I have one in a box. I just have to put it together. But yeah, really, really good. Really, thank you. So there's some stuff that I missed out, but I didn't want to go over a whole fucking thing again. We're already at 40 minutes in. So let me know if there's something that you guys, wow, this unit in the Chaos Space Marine player is so good for the points. Put it in the comments below. Hit us up on Discord, but let me know what you guys thought about my choices. A lot of the lists that I'm sure you have in your phone right now have most of these in there already. So there's some characters that I missed, there's some units I missed, but mainly this is what you're going to be seeing on the table edge, and this is what you should be playing on the table edge, excluding, like, I definitely would bring a sorcerer. It's so good with killing knights. Like, the extra AP, it's AP 4 on the fucking Forgefiends now. Like, it's such a good model, but we didn't have time to talk about it. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. Do you like these types of videos? A lot more is going to be coming. I have a whole list of shit that's going to be coming out on the channel. If you guys are Patreons, you get first access to this. So all these are going to be posting on Patreon first. So you guys can review it a couple days early before it hits YouTube. So if you guys want to check out that, go check out that on Patreon. List building ideas for 10th. Movement phase for Grey Knights, movement phase tactics, best Chaos Space Marine units, which is this video, ally units, fill in the gaps and points, best Grey Knight allies, Cypher versus Cultist strats, best strats for -1 CP, Grey Knights versus armor, and charge phase, which is the new strats that's going to be coming up on the tabletop, so that guys can physically show you how the charge phase works and what was different than it first came out. So appreciate you guys. Thanks to all my Patreons. Thanks for hitting the like, subscribe, do all the YouTube shit, and hopefully we see you in another video soon.